Yeah, I love my wife. But you know, I also love f***ing her sister. She's very emotional, isn't she? She's a very irrational person. I said a long time ago that video essayists need to start doing debates because they need to understand how difficult it is to not say the R slur. And I stand by that. And this is my prime example. You know, there are people, there's a type of rhetorician who just has a friend for every argument. They just have a friend for absolutely everything. So this is the study she's talking about, okay? JustPearlyThings released a video dunking on münecat. Wait, really? 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 Oh! She reacted to münecat debunking the manosphere. Let's see. JustPearlyThings versus münecat.
Welcome to the JustPearlyThings YouTube channel. Today, I am going to be reacting to I Debunked the Entire Manosphere. Before I start, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. That way you're going to be notified of my daily videos. Also, guys, if you want to know what my producer blessing looks like, send a super thanks. He's camera shy.
Today we're going to be talking about hypergamy.
5 forms of female hypergamy.
You know the word hypergamy or hypergamy.
Hypergamy.
On this podcast,
Oh my gosh, Rolo looks so different there. Oh my goodness.
we don't cry about hypergamy.
So hypergamy, this is a huge subject.
Human females engage in hypergamy. Women mate across and up dominance.
Okay, guys, the red pill stuff has been around for what, like 9 months? It's been around for a full fucking baby. I don't care. I don't actually know what hypergamy is. I'm not ashamed. I don't care. Fuck you. The action of marrying or forming a sexual relationship with a person of a superior sociological or oh, women date up. Okay.
With a small percentage of men hogging a large percentage of
Women can't.
Then it depends because people have different opinions on what up and down is, right? It can be up in looks, but down in wealth and income. Can be up in like charm, doesn't make that much money, can make loads of money, can be a fucking loser with like, there's a huge there's a lot of intersections of where your status comes from. There's cultural capital, there's economic capital, there's physical capital, you know, being good looking and shit. Having chonky gunners. Is it hypergamy when a woman leaves her husband for a guy with a bigger dick? Or who fucks better? Just say who fucks better. Like, I don't know. And she's not great in the sack herself, so it's hypergamy. I don't fucking... It's stupid, whatever. Right.
Get rid of that.
That's my initial thoughts on hypergamy. I don't really...
Hypergamous nature, and then just leave the men at the bottom to be cast away. That's terrifying.
It's widely accepted that women are hypergamous. That's it.
First of all, let's look at the supposed evidence that they have for hypergamy. This is a study which revealed that 5,000 years ago, after the rise of agriculture, a huge uptick in wealth disparity meant that there were a small group of very rich alpha males that reproduced with, on average, 17 women, cooking the rest of men into sexless oblivion. To deal with this, we developed the monogamous system, which ensured no man was left out of the reproductive.
I assure you there are still men left out of the reproductive marketplace. I assure you. I assure you.
Sexual marketplace.
Is this going to be the entire react? I don't want to believe that. That's not the point. The point would be to reduce the numbers. To what? The fact that there was still a non-zero number of men. Yeah, like some guy in the in the Neolithic era. Or sorry, it's agricultural. Sorry. What's an agricultural? The fucking Iron Age? I don't know. Whatever you call it. Shit. And he's just like, he's only got one leg and he can't get it up. Like, yeah, probably not gonna be able to make a baby. I don't know. Shit. Does that completely disprove one of the reasons that monogamy came about? Ugh.
This was an example of women's ingrained hypergamous nature at its peak, and if we allow the current sexual marketplace to expand to its natural conclusion, it will all happen once again.
You know, they were the incels of thousands of years ago. Yeah. They were the original, right? So they might group up to rebel against the Chad, and they will take the women and separate them among themselves. The Marxists, for example, they came to America and they destroyed thousands of years of cultural evolution. We live in a primitive sexual market.
Yeah.
Just like it existed thousands of years ago.
For a start, there is
What the fuck did that guy just say? All right, whatever.
no consideration that this may have not been the women's choice. Many of these powerful alphas were probably...
It's funny because people in the Frankfurt School, at least Adorno, I think also there was another one who was really pro-family values, but I can't remember who. Adorno was a massive traditionalist when it came to culture. He hated like degenerate, what did he call it? Like rubbish, mass-produced, tasteless, like churned out fake art that he called, but that was him describing like 40s jazz because he was like a musicologist and he thought like Beethoven was like fucking peak and all that. He thought it was just capitalism churning out bullshit to make money. The culture, like if you read the culture industry, it sounds like someone complaining about, it sounds like the way conservatives talk about modern music today. Like a little bit. I didn't say he was a fucking reactionary fig. I just said he sounds a bit like one. And yeah, I think when it came to cultural stuff, yeah, he was quite like, I was pretty traditional. He didn't like modern like jazz and all that shit. Like he didn't like modern popular music. He didn't like it. He thought it was rubbish. And the way that he talks is often the way that a lot of conservatives talk when they talk about like retaining high culture and shit like that.
Are wording the women in all reality.
He didn't mind jazz as much as people think. It's kind of a meme. I did not know that. I just remember reading the culture industry and thinking, this guy is a bit cringe. Oh, wait, I think the story I learned about his death, is that true? That a women's group like raided one of his lectures and one of them threw a bra over his head. And then not long after, he had a heart attack and died. Isn't that, I think that's Adorno. Wait.
And not allowing her any choice in her mating preference whatsoever.
One of the things your research has indicated is that there is a manner in which women...
See, like, that's a very modern woman mindset. Well, if women were doing that, then it must be men's fault. They must have been R-wording them. Unless she has some study that, by and large, that was happening. I'm always open to new information. I hope she brings me something that I don't know. Okay, genuinely. But okay, let's go.
Are attracted to people who manifest dark...
What the f*** is this? I don't... She's so simple, isn't she?
Dark triad traits.
Yeah, I would say, I would add the qualifier that it tends to be younger women, teenagers or women in their early 20s.
There is no modern day evidence that women prefer bad boys.
Okay. I'll give you this is a piece of anecdotal evidence. I had an OnlyFans, a male OnlyFans model on my show. He said one of the #1 things that women request is grape seed. I've also done more interviews than I can count. I also have anecdotal experience just from talking to friends. Yeah, women do like bad boys. Stop capping. Let's just stop capping.
Either when they're...
Wait, what, I need to figure out what, like, I can't tell if she's responding to what Mooncat's actually saying.
Bad boys.
We're doing that, then it must be men's fault. They must have been R-wording them. Unless she has some study that, by and large, that was happening. I'm always open to new information. I hope she brings me something that I don't know in this, genuinely. But okay, let's go.
Are attracted to people who manifest dark triad traits.
Yeah, I would say, I would add the qualifier that it tends to be younger women, teenagers or women in their early 20s.
There is no modern day evidence that women prefer bad boys.
Okay. I'll give you this is a piece of anecdotal evidence.
No, okay, you don't need studies for this. Okay, if people say bad boys are like the assholes thing, right? Is that what they mean? Women like assholes? The problem is, it's just not, like, I actually don't think that's true. The really simple way to look at it is that women like confidence. And if you're a guy, the easiest way to appear confident is to be an asshole. And women who are a bit younger don't recognize that difference until they get a bit older. And so they talk about with assholes. And then they realize, oh, you can be confident and not be an asshole. Nice one. But at the same time, what we maybe don't see as much of, because I guess the incels don't pick up on it because it wouldn't really suit what they're saying, is that they would just see assholes getting women and they get upset about it. What they probably don't see is a lot of confident guys who are not assholes, who also have girlfriends, But that they just don't register that part because that's like they just develop this heuristic that, oh, that guy's got a girlfriend, he's confident, he must be an asshole. Maybe I just haven't seen it yet, you know? But anyway, go on, Pearly. Go. Give me my anecdote. You raised me your one.
I had an only.
Wait, this is going to be an impossible segment. I'm just thinking, when I see films, the sociological theory that the loss of support of objectively established religion, the dissolution of the last remnants of pre-capitalism, together with technological and social differentiation or specialization, have led to cultural chaos, is disproved every day. For culture now impresses the same stamp on everything. Films, radio, and magazines make up a system which is uniform as a whole and in every part. Even the aesthetic activities of political opposites are one in their enthusiastic obedience to the rhythm of the iron system. The decorative industrial management buildings and exhibition centers in authoritarian countries are much the same as anywhere else. The huge gleaming towers that shoot up everywhere are outward signs of the ingenious planning of international concerns, towards which the unleashed entrepreneurial system, whose monuments are a mass of gloomy houses and business premises in grimy, spiritless cities, was already hastening. Even now, the older houses just outside the concrete city centers look like slums, and the new bungalows on the outskirts
on this issue
are at one with the flimsy structures of world fairs in their praise of technical progress and their built-in demand to be discarded after a short while like empty food cans. So, when people say that cultural Marxists, i.e. the Frankfurt School, were these purveyors of liberal degeneracy and like modernization and disgusting like glassy towers and sapping the soul out of traditional society. This is the refutation to it, basically. Like they just didn't think like that. Yet the city housing projects, and now they were against.
You laughed in the face of your last interlocutor
a lot
on
of
this issue.
These aspects of modern culture for very different reasons than the right wingers are. But this is just like when people think about the cultural Marxist thing that little incel dipshit was talking about, not her. It just doesn't match. It's such a stupid theory. Like, what is this as well? Yeah, the city housing projects designed to perpetuate the individual as a supposedly independent unit in a small hygienic dwelling make him all the more subservient to his adversary, the absolute power of capitalism. Because the inhabitants, as producers and as consumers, are drawn into the center in search of work and pleasure, all the living units crystallize into well-organized complexes. It's like, if you ever look at people like Paul Joseph Watson or Lawrence Southern or like Lauren Chen, the way they complain about urbanization, the way they complain about like, go and live in the pod, right? It's so similar to this. Like, again, their conclusions are, and the way they arrive at these conclusions, at these premises are very different, but it's just funny that they'll complain about Marxism causing these things that upset them, even though like Marxists complained about this stuff quite a lot. The striking unity of microcosm and macrocosm presents men with a model of their culture, the false identity of the general and the particular. Under monopoly, all mass culture is identical, and the lines of its artificial framework begin to show through. The people at the top are no longer so interested in concealing monopoly. As its violence becomes more open, so its power grows. Movies and radio need no longer pretend to be art. The truth that they are just business is made into an ideology in order to justify the rubbish they deliberately produce. They call themselves industries, and when their directors' incomes are published, any doubt about the social utility of the finished products is removed. That's actually, this guy's actually a good writer. I'm not going to slam him for that. One of the more readable people from that era. I think when a really good example of this, I think, is The Simpsons. Like the whole premise of The Simpsons was that it was this idea of flipping the traditional sitcom completely on its head. The functional, idyllic suburban family gets completely twisted. The dad is not a like stellar breadwinner. He's incompetent. He's stupid. He's kind of an alcoholic. The wife, Marge, is like a little bit neurotic. Suffers with a lot of anxiety and shit like that from being the housewife. Bart is a brat. Lisa is the young girl who's really hyper intelligent, but no one takes her seriously because she's a girl. Like the town is run by a fucking tyrant, by an oligarch tyrant. So the mayor is corrupt, the cop is a pig. Like it's all these things just like completely flipped onto the ideal community. And that's why it was so good. I think it was such a brilliant concept at the time. I think the only other sitcom that did that I can think of was Married with Children. In the 80s, the married family were just so dysfunctional, but like The Simpsons just did it like way better anyway. But the problem is that once The Simpsons got to like season whatever 25, like the problem was that original thing that made it so interesting was like still there, but the times had moved on. It wasn't really applying the same social commentary that would be relevant to later years, and then it just became a reference to itself. The Simpsons just became like, oh, Homer's going to space for the 7th time. Whoa. And everything just becomes self-referential. So its original substance is just gone. But it made money. So yeah, that's kind of where the culture industry thing comes from. Because I'd imagine if it was just being creative, if it was just the creativity that you're interested in just developing as an artist or a writer, I don't see why you would still want to make Simpsons episodes. I feel like Simpsons episodes now are just, or if they still go, or whenever they were still going, like it was just, there was a point where this was like, this is just a job to make money. Anyway, sorry, we're diverting. Pearly was going to say something smart. Wait, what the f were we on? We were on, oh, women liking bad boys. Okay.
OnlyFans, a male OnlyFans model on my show. He said one of the #1 things that women request is grape seed. I've also done more interviews than I can count. I also have anecdotal experience just from talking to friends. Yeah, women do like bad boys. Stop capping. Let's just stop capping.
Either when they're ovulating or when they're not. There's actually more evidence to prove the opposite.
Oh, I'm interested. Okay. Physical attract. Do women prefer dominating? Autism. Is she gonna go into these? Because here's the thing. It's like.
Did she read altruism as autism? Bro. The first thing I saw of Just Pearly Things was asking feminists to explain why women are disadvantaged in society. And she was so ditzy about it and infuriating that the feminists just got triggered and Pearly came out on top, basically. It's really funny that I don't know if she's sincere. It just seems like an act, the way she talks. She talks like a smart person would talk when they're pretending to be stupid, you know? Like if you're an actor and someone said play a dumb person, you would talk the way she's talking, right? I don't know if that's really true. What is this over here? Is she gonna go into these dominant ultimate autism? I don't know. That's really I don't know. But it can't be real.
Women tend to sleep with the bad boys. They might marry the nice guy. Go ahead.
There is evidence that women are attracted to men with dark triad traits, but one of these traits is narcissism, which correlates with physical attractiveness and extroversion. Ooh. And in much the same way, men are attracted...
So, like, I can already imagine she's going to say the reason women are attracted to things like dark triad or assholes or whatever is because they exhibit things that are attractive in it, because they exhibit other things that actually are attractive, like physical attraction or like extroversion, like confidence, like even just the willingness to speak up for yourself, right? That all comes with, it's not, but like, I don't even know what you call it, is when you see the bad guy thing and it's like, that's not the thing that makes them attractive. It's the things that go with it.
To women with dark triad.
It's like, it's not things that are inherent to the bad guy thing. Okay, Meat Fugger, thanks for the gifted tier 1 sub. Hideous Lemon, thanks for the gifted tier 1 sub. Sexy Jedi with a gifted tier 1 sub. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
Traits, as narcissism correlates with physical attractiveness. So once...
Well, you realize narcissism isn't... Like, you can't make conclusions about society at large. What % of the population?
What? Okay.
Is a narcissist. I'm seeing 1%, 1 to 5% of the population.
The physical attractiveness.
We're talking about traits, you fucking moron. Anyway, okay.
And the confidence is controlled for dark
It's a trait. Narcissism is a trait of dark triad. It's not NPD. NPD is a very fucking rare diagnosis. It doesn't mean people can have narcissistic traits. If you call someone narcissistic and they're like, well, I'll have you find that that only 0.% of the population are narcissists, and oh my god, we're 4 minutes in. I'm so triggered. Sorry.
Triad traits actually add nothing for either gender. Basically, you can be confident and nice and you'll still be attractive to women and
never take dating advice from women. We don't even know what we want.
Men. But this doesn't stop JP stomping around podcasts.
Okay, stop. Stop. You can't generalize the wider society. Okay.
Talking about this like it's science-based fact. The only other evidence they have for this is the...
I'll give you a piece of evidence. Women reproduce more with non-violent offenders than men, or women reproduce more with violent offenders than non-violent offenders.
Pop Evo psych evidence, which has not been proven to the point of peer-reviewed consensus. Peterson will
okay, I'm gonna have to let a lot of things slide. Just don't worry.
Maintain that.
Yeah, this is the crazy thing, is I feel like a lot of stuff that's just like, we been knew that women don't like nice guys. We been knew, like, there's always the crazy high school boyfriend. It's always like girls date the bad boys in their early 20s. When they get closer to getting that ring, they'll marry the nice guy.
Cross-culturally, women have always dated across and up.
Yeah, only 40% of men have reproduced historically. So yes, that's true.
God, like how ADHD is her. Oh, I can't keep up. I don't know what point she's responding to because it's mid-sentence shit. Fuck me. Come back a bit. Okay.
Ring, they'll marry the nice guy.
Cross-culturally, women have always dated across and up.
Yeah, only 40% of men have reproduced historically. So yes, that's true.
Females engage in hypergamy, and hypergamy is and this is also true cross-culturally, and it's
only 40% of men have reproduced historically. Where did she get that from? That's interesting. This is 8,000 years ago. 17 women reproduced for every. I'm not sure where the 40% thing is. Did you watch Pearly's colonialist views yet? No. It's okay. Maybe. Do I want to start doing? Do I want to gather a red pill research doc? I don't even know if she's red pill. I don't know if that's what red pill is. It sounds like it. Okay.
It's also quite, it's just as extensive in Scandinavia. Not quite. There's a bit of attenuation, but not much. Women mate.
The other thing about hypergamy as well is I just wonder if the hypergamy thing is true, if every woman thinks she's dating up, can men not feel like that as well? Or are men constantly with their partners thinking like, I can do better than this, or I deserve better? I don't, I need to think about that. It's also like I think the main thing is about hypergamy is status by what metric. It's probably true that people tend to date around their income and around their like social like work status or whatever the fuck else, but I don't know. I feel like men dating younger women. That's a weird one because there's a higher potential for unequal power relations, but then also like younger women are seen as like higher value to a lot of men. Like a lot of men see like younger women as a more of like a prized fucking possession or whatever the like it's more of a fetish. But I don't know if that's like does that feel like the man's dating up? Like if a man can get a woman who's younger than him, that feels like he's dating up, even though she might be poorer than him, she might be less well educated than him, but it still feels like a win for him because she's younger. It's like a really classical economics thing where it's like, let's say apples and oranges are worth exactly the same, and I have 5 apples and you have 4 oranges, but I fucking hate apples and I love oranges and I trade them. I'm technically losing out, but I feel like I've gained because I don't like the apples and I do like the oranges. Something shit like that. I don't know.
Across and up dominance hierarchies. Men mate across and down. Okay, and that has to be the case because if...
Yeah, because men swipe right 45% of the time on dating apps, where women swipe right 5% of the time. Up to 20, depends on the study.
45%.
Obviously, it has to work that way. If one goes up, the other has to go down.
This is only half true. Peterson consistently fails to point out the hordes of studies that show that hypergamy is much less prominent in more developed countries because as an economy develops and is able to provide social safety nets and less children die at a young age, they will have less children at an older age as it is safer to do so.
True, they will have less children at an older age. What does that have to... Women still swipe right 5% of the time on dating apps. You cannot tell me that women don't date across and up. Oh, come on. Come on.
What was the study on hypergamy that she mentioned? Hypergamy on the decline in Europe. The study of who marries whom stems from a very simple observation. Individuals do not date, move in together, or marry each other randomly. They aim to select others based on preferences. A large number of selection criteria, selection based on each socioeconomic attributes such as education, income, occupation, and wealth, is believed to be among the most important as it affects future well-being and status. Theories are divided on whether men and women seek out a partner with higher, lower, or equal status. There is a simple limiting factor of partner selection. The constraints of this so-called relationship market affect the opportunities of the interaction. Union formation. As the educational level of women has increased considerably in Europe, their relative socioeconomic position in heterosexual partnerships has changed. This has restructured the market. Oh yeah, because women have an educational advantage in all these countries. Okay. What's this to do with hypergamy? So educational so what, women tend to get with people who are less well educated than them? Yeah, this is just looking at different metrics, isn't it? Is that what it is? But I feel like if someone like Pearly or these red pill types, that they would mean hypergamy. What would they mean? Just like looks and wealth? I don't think they give a fuck about education. This is just hypergamy in the sense of education. That seems to be what they've tracked for, right? I don't know how you would. They mean just wealth. Okay. Is that true? Are there any studies on that?
Countries because as an economy develops and is able to provide social safety nets and less children die at a young age, they will have less children at an older age as it is safer to do so.
It's true that women are becoming wealthier and men are being... Yeah, I know that, but I just wonder if... I just wonder what's happening with women who earn a lot. Are they still dating up when it comes to income or across? Or is it common for women to marry someone who's earning less than them? I don't know how common that is. I don't think it is. I don't think it's very common at all. But it's just my own anecdotal experience. So.
True. They will have less children at an older age. What does that have to... Women still swipe right 5% of the time on dating apps. You cannot tell me that women don't date across and up.
So she's talking swiping on dating apps. First, yeah, that's that would be to do with looks though, wouldn't it? Unless I don't know how often people list their jobs in a fucking dating app. Like, do I? It's been a while. No, I don't. Okay. Swipe right means accept. Yeah, it means you want to date them. Yeah.
Oh, come on. Come on. I've had so many girls come on my show and tell me, I don't even know what study she's talking about. I would be, look at, they want to date a guy that makes more money than them, that's taller than them, that's smarter than them, that's in better shape than them. Ideally. Men swipe right 45% of the time on dating apps. Okay, so yeah, the smarter than them is clearly, that's the thing that's on the decline. Okay.
And they will choose a spouse later in life based on...
Yeah, that's true. But you know what's interesting? Even the women that say they don't want to get married, I always ask, for the right guy, would you get married and have kids? And they always say yes. And so to me...
Okay. What, the right guy to marry? Or okay.
That indicates they just can't get the guy that they want. Yeah, first marriage is it 27? I thought it was closer to 30 now.
Taller than them is hypergamy. Yeah. Damn, that's true, actually. Yeah, men, yeah, in terms of height, actually, yeah, there's a lot of hypergamy going on. That's true. Not very often you see a short dude with a taller woman.
Needs, such as emotional needs. You're probably not familiar with this concept, Jordan, but people are finding other people that actually like them. So I don't know, this kind of sounds like a much better solution for all genders rather than trapping people into marriages they entered for the needs of bearing children and economic...
Feminists always have this like trapping, like it's like the language they use, trapping people into marriages for children, da 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 da. And it's like we always have this like worst case scenario in our minds. Our feminists do.
Stability.
I mean, that is kind of what used to happen, right? If you were a woman, you had to get married because that's how you got provided for when you were older. Okay. And that is also the world that red pill, or like not red pill, but like traditional conservative men want. So, yeah.
But that's apparently the red pill utopia that we're all striving for. Peterson and his incel minions also don't account for the fact that men, on average, thanks to millennia of patriarchy, earn more than women still. So
oh my god. Oh my god. I can't believe people don't know about the pay gap in 2022, that they don't know the reasons why the pay gap exists. Women make less than men because we don't work as hard. I'm sorry. And I can say this from hiring people. I can say this from hiring people. The people that put in the most, my employees that put in the most hours are men. Men work more.
What the hell? What the fuck is that link? Here's video about talking has infrared. I'm not clicking that. That looks insane. Anyway.
The reason women get paid less for the same job is because they work less hours and they tend to negotiate less. That's why.
It's not surprising that we're still living with the norms of a husband earning more than a wife.
Well, that can still be, okay, I don't want to use the word patriarch, but like that can still be because of that, right? Like if women aren't advocating for themselves, and also, yeah, like, oh God, the housework stats are insane, aren't they? Like, isn't it like even the case if a man is at home more often, he'll still do a bunch less housework? Like even if the woman is working harder, earning more, she'll still do more housework. Yeah. And that's maybe because of patriarchy. Okay.
Why? Divorce rates are actually lower than ever because marriage rates are lower than ever.
Divorce rates are lower than ever. It's still like 50%. I don't.
When she says I think she should have said like just absolute numbers of divorces. Like the numbers of divorces are lower. I think the rates are higher though, isn't it? I think it's like a higher proportion of marriages ending divorce than used to be the case.
I think divorce rates are lower than ever because it's 50%, and I know in the 1920s it was like 20%.
Because people are actually waiting to find.
And whose choice is that? Men or women? Men are attracted to fertility and youth, so whose choice is it to wait to get married? Men or women?
One they actually fucking like.
I don't know. You might say that. I think it's because they're running out of time. They are running out of time. Girls would be like, I don't need no man. I ain't submissive. Then at 28 to 30, she's like, oh, I was just talking. I don't even know. I was just talking. I swear to God, I was just talking. I didn't mean any of that.
Later in life, after their frontal lobes are fully formed. And this is actually decreasing the chances of younger, less wealthy men being left with nobody, and of old female spinsters being left with nobody. But
if that was effective, why is it when the age of first marriage goes up, divorce rates have also gone up?
Hang on a minute, say the incels. There is evidence that women are initiating divorces when they get promoted. This means they're looking for higher status men.
What did she... Sorry, I'm just...
being left with nobody. But
if that was effective, why is it when the age of first marriage goes up, divorce rates have also gone up?
Hang on a minute.
No, she's saying that age of marriage... I think she's pointing about a correlation, isn't she? Wait,
it's when the age
body. But
if that was effective, why is it when the age of first marriage goes up, divorce rates have also gone up?
When age of first marriage goes up, divorce rates also go up. Is she talking about? Okay, hang on. No, she's saying divorce rates are higher now because the age of first marriage has gone up. But the problem, that doesn't really speak to what münecat was saying, which is I think boomers get divorced at higher rates than millennials, yeah. So what's actually happening is the people who got married earlier in life are divorcing more often than the people who wait till later to get married. Jesus, that took a fucking minute. Oh, God.
Less wealthy men form. And this is...
that's because the people who have already been married have experienced, like, I don't know, economic hardship or have made, like, yeah, there's quite a few different reasons people probably would have started getting divorced more often recently, but Yeah, I think she's just correlating and calling it causation. Yeah, whatever.
It's actually decreasing the chances of younger, less wealthy men being left with nobody, and of old female spinsters being left with nobody. But
if that was a fact,
I mean, you think that's pretty obvious, right? If you wait to get married, you've probably been around the block a little bit. You've got more fucking you've had more partners. You know what you want a bit better. Probably more likely that if you pick a marriage when you're in your late 20s, early 30s, you're probably going to be more mature, and you're going to be in a better position to judge who you're going to stay with for the rest of your life. Great article. Fewer and fewer Americans are getting divorced. This is like lower absolute numbers, I guess, because yeah, the rates. Okay. So the divorce rate. I didn't know they would call it the divorce rate, because I guess like the proportion of marriages that end in divorce will be doing the opposite, right? It'll be blasting. But okay. Rate of divorce is just number of divorces for every 1,000 Americans in a year. Okay. Makes sense. And the marriage age is going higher. From 20 in 1960 to 27. Younger adults are being more decisive. They choose to marry after they've achieved their desired levels of education, careers, and established their finances, stabilize their finances. They also want to be bonded with a mate based on love, not on social obligation. Yeah, of course they're going to fucking be less likely to divorce. Gray divorce. Is gray spelled like that? What's with an E? Or is this different? Is it like a American spell with an A? That's stupid. Among those, older adults are becoming more likely to get divorced. Ooh. So yeah, everything that Münecat said was correct, and Pearly's a fucking moron. Okay, cool.
Active. Why is it when the age of first marriage goes up, divorce rates have also gone up?
hang on a minute, say the incel.
Yeah, and the divorce rates have gone up because boomers are getting divorced at a higher rate, and that's probably because of the more recent financial insecurities, right? And because they got married too young and they didn't know what the fuck they wanted. Some older, let's see why. Women's economic independence. Oh yeah, it's easier for the women to leave, obviously, yeah. They grow apart. Okay, yeah. But Pearly thinks it's because people get married later, even though the people who get married when they're older are more likely to stay together. Okay, cool.
There is evidence that women are initiating divorces when they get promoted. This means they're looking for higher status men.
We tell guys all the time that marriage isn't really a good institution in the United States anymore.
Byron's fucking attack pose when he's telling you how women are shit. I love it.
Using a bartender who is broke over a rich guy is just so far removed from reality.
The concept is known as monkey branch.
70% of all marriages end because the woman petitioned to have it end.
Because it's set up so that the one with less money is the one who gets spousal support.
Because they've been incentivized to do so because of the wealth transfer.
For women, like the richest women in the world, either got their money through inheritance or they got it through divorce.
They just want to protect themselves. That's generally why they do it.
A woman breaks up in order to trade up.
I could struggle with you, or I could take this money that the government's giving me, and all I got to do is sleep with you.
Ultimately, this could also be her searching for a bigger, better option.
And they believe they've got relationship equity that they can make a withdrawal on at a later date.
Women do initiate more divorces now because when they feel that they can support themselves, they are less likely to trap themselves in an unhappy marriage in which they are expected to do most of the household chores, causing them stress.
Ooh. Women like
so
doing household chores.
Over chores. And this is what I mean. This is why men don't want to get married. You think it's acceptable to divorce a man over chores? Blessing. Blessing. Come here. Come here. Chores. Can you imagine?
She's very emotional, isn't she? She's a very irrational person. I think that was one of many things, right? She doesn't want to be in a situation where she feels like she can't get out. She feels more financially stable, so she's actually got the choice to move out. And she's probably also upset that she has to come home and do all the chores while her and the husband work the same amount, or she might even work more. God. Oh, I could never. I'm sorry. I know I want to do more debates. If I had a conversation with Pearly, I would just lose my shit. I would just call her names. I can't. Yeah, like if you come home from work and like if you come home from work and your husband, who's just worked the same amount as you, expects you to do all the housework, like fuck off. I did say this. I said a really long time ago. I said a long time ago that video essayists need to start doing debates because they need to understand how difficult it is to not say the R slur. And I stand by that. And this is my prime example. God, every ounce of energy not to say the R slur.
Getting divorced over chores. Yeah, she was like, women are more likely to divorce when they get promoted because they're less likely they can support themselves, so they're not as likely to stay in a happy marriage or an unhappy marriage where maybe the chores are stressing her out.
Should she stay in an unhappy marriage, Pearly? What? Why did you even had to correct yourself there? Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Evidence that they are leaving them for higher value males. There is also another apparently hard to swallow pill that women...
I mean, okay, let's just be real here. When women leave, are they expecting to do worse? Why would you leave someone and expect to do worse? Like, I'm just be real.
And will cheat on their beta male husbands with alphas. Another theory that Peterson backs up with.
Yeah, because there's two different mating strategies for women. There's like the guy you're...
I remember a certain Mr. Lornabox complaining how soy people are that go, it takes all my self-control not to say something misogynistic. I did not say I was going to say anything misogynistic. I said I was going to say the R slur. I don't consider, so I told you, I've said this before, there's a Cold War currently going on, and it's between people who think the R word is an ableist slur. I am not one of those people. And the other people who think it should just move on and join the ranks with other previously problematic medical terms like fucking idiot, moron, imbecile. I only don't say the R word because it makes you fucking idiots cry. Or people on Twitter, I don't know, like, or people in the comment section. I have no gripes with it. Because to me, it's just like, it's neutered in the same way as all the imbeciles and morons once were. I'm sorry. No, it's neutered like all the other bad words for people. Dustin has a great ass clip reacting to Pearl doing "The women are dumb for divorcing over chores." Does he? Wait, is he reacting to this as well? I thought, wait, this video came out like half an hour ago.
Physically attracted to and the guy that you can see yourself with long term, and that's more of like the provider type. It's very hard to find both. Some guys have both, and you know that's why. I mean, like Giselle, what's her face? What'd she do after Tom Brady? The jiu-jitsu instructor.
Further.
And I'm not saying anything for this or against this. This is a purely factual biological claim. Is they pick a monogamous marriage and they cheat with high status guys. Now, you know, obviously in the confines of the marriage, that's a terrible thing, but...
That's a very uncomfortable subject, though, for women in particular.
Well, it's an uncomfortable subject for everyone.
Right.
Is there any evidence to back this up? Absolutely not. From survey data, men admit to cheating on their spouses more than women, but the women...
It's actually really similar, the more recent studies that have come out. It's very similar in terms of cheating data. But it's interesting because if men cheat, they still are equally likely to rate their marriages happy, where if women cheat, it's interesting. A lot of them want to get caught. And they also are more likely to rate their marriages as unhappy.
Are catching up with the men because...
Men who are happily married are cheating. That doesn't surprise me at all. Guy just out there, yeah, it's fine. Big deal, you know? Fuck it. Yeah, I love my wife. But, you know, I also love fucking her sister. Yeah, that's a very man thing to do.
The most common way for someone to cheat is with someone they know, like a work colleague.
Wait. So then, okay, then this is kind of proving what she said. A work colleague, so a higher status male after she gets the promotion.
So now women have been allowed to leave the house more. They're actually beginning to cheat as much as men do, but there's no evidence that they've ever cheated more than men. And it's
no, I swear, I just saw a study the other day.
Not the norm to cheat either, like it's somehow become socially acceptable. There's no societal shift away from monogamy. We still want to get married or settle in long term.
We want to, but we won't. 45% of women between the ages of 25 and 45 will be single and childless. So if we want to, why aren't we? There's always a man that will marry a woman.
In relationships, humans.
Is that true? I don't know that many men who are super keen to get married these days. Again, I haven't done research into this red pill shit. I'm just kind of reading as I go along this. Yeah, she doesn't really source her claims, which is weird because she's 1 million subs or some shit and she's got a fucking editor. Found it. What's this?
Why do you think they're getting divorced? Do you think divorce is fun?
I think women divorce for no reason all the time.
No.
The reasons they
Can I tell you the reasons? Because I researched it. You're actually a child. What do you think love is? You're just like romantically going away to Venice like every year, and that's no. A relationship requires a lot of deliberate work. Things like chores are where relationships start to break down, and it'll steamroll into bigger things. A guy not doing chores ever might be a guy that you don't want to anymore, and then you not having sex ever might be you guys just don't get along anymore. And like 3 months into it, you hate each other, and you don't know why, and you're not sleeping together even. You're not having any sex. You don't do anything together, and it starts over small. But anybody that's been in any relationship long term, these little things will pile up and kill you.
My whole argument is that I think divorce is stupid over chores. I think that's stupid.
I think it's really funny that when we have these conversations, we say, LOL, just chores, LOL, just chores. But then when I go on any Red Pill podcast and I say, what is a perfect wife? What's a perfect woman? The only thing that the men say are women that do chores. I want a woman that takes care of the house, that cooks me a clean meal, that makes sure that my home is in order. Those are chores. Why do you think they're
Bro, what the fuck is a red pill dude gonna do if the woman just stops cooking, right? And she's like, oh, I just want to order some food every night. Like, yeah. Can you imagine being a man getting a stay-at-home wife and then one day she's just like, yeah, you know what? I don't like cooking anymore. It doesn't make me happy.
Pair bond, that's what we mostly do. We're just doing it later. When
the entire DW crew said they don't know how to do laundry. Wait, what's DW? Daily Wire. Yeah, it's a pretty... Yeah. It's like men who can't do their fucking laundry. Oh, God. Yeah. There's a thing. It's a thing. Men can't do their laundry. Yeah. Oh, God, I wish I could get survey data. I feel like men would be honest about that as well.
When we're settled in life.
If that was effective, why are we more divorced now?
Furthermore, there is no...
Go back.
There's always a man that will marry a woman.
In relationships, humans pair bond, that's what we mostly do. We're just doing it later when we're settled in life.
But they're not the ones who are marrying later are not the ones who are doing all the divorcing. Okay, yeah, you're a fucking idiot, Pearly. This is your job. Like, I don't understand it. I don't understand how someone can engage with this stuff as a fucking profession. Like, I've not made any fucking red pill videos. I don't talk about this stuff. This is the most research I've ever done on the men and women dating, marriage, fucking ethics, hypergamy shit. And I already know the answer to this question that she's asking hyper rhetorically, like a fucking idiot. Okay, sorry. Chat, it's almost 3 hours into the stream. There's 180 of you watching. I really appreciate this. We have like 15 minutes left of this video. Okay, got eight ticks in the box, okay? Every 2 minutes that I don't get a sub, I'm gonna put a tick in the box and I might snap and call this person the arslur by the end, okay? Or I might describe her arguments as arslurred. Okay, I don't want to, okay? You guys need to bring me under control, okay? I can't do it. Okay.
If that was effective, why are we more divorced now?
Furthermore, there is no survey data that shows that the women who do cheat are doing so with high status men.
What? So
wait, I don't even know my community anymore. I don't know if you guys would actually do it the other way around. I don't know if this is a community that would pay to make me say the R slur.
You laughed in the face of your last interlocutor.
I don't know
on this
why
issue.
Ternax gave me that sub. Did he give me that? Did you give me that sub to avoid the R slur, or did you give me that sub because you want me to say the R slur? Thank you so much, though. I really appreciate that.
Cheating with a guy that's ugly.
Maybe you know what? You have to, if you gift a sub, and then the gift is your vote. Okay. So far, the no slurs have one vote. Okay, it's 1-0 to the. I'm sorry. Jesus Christ. Is this ethical?
You laughed in the face of your last interlocutor.
Oh
on
God,
this
someone's
issue.
just purchased 4 votes. Sedated. Oh, 5. Thanks for the 5 gifted tier 1 subs. I really appreciate that. Okay.
Clear and broker than your husband. That's offensive. Oh, that's like, come on.
If we're going to talk about this through a pop evo psych lens, surely it's more evolutionary advantageous for a woman
Keep a log, guys. 5-1. Okay. 5-1 in favor.
not to be hypergamous and to be wary of the risk of getting involved with the wrong man who will not support her child. Since the woman has always been the more
Will not support your child. I'm so confused.
selective gender.
Led Vimin, thanks for the tier 1 sub. 6-1 in favor of the Arsler. God, this, what community have I cultivated? This is ridiculous. Okay.
She's always had a choice between a beta or an alpha.
No, but now the government funds her choice. That's the difference. I'm not saying like women are any different today than they've always been. Now they get paid to do it. So a girl can have a kid with the alpha instead of going for the provider. There's more of a consequence for going for the alpha, or there's less of a consequence for going for the alpha. So basically, she can have a kid with them and then rely on the government, and they'll pay her to be a single mother. Especially here, they used to, I don't know if they still do here in the UK, but they'll give you free housing.
So why would she willingly put herself in the dangers of an aggressive, violent alpha?
Not all alphas are aggressive. It just means like good genes. Hot guy.
Is that what alpha means to you, Pearly? Good looking? Okay. Wait, what? 2 to each. Okay, thanks, Ethan, for the 4 subs. Or 8-3. Okay. Yeah.
And leave her children without a father.
I don't know. But I'm telling you, I've met so many girls that have done that exact thing. That break up her home and become a single.
She has a lot of studies off the top of her head, even though I don't know if she's necessarily using them in the correct way. But whenever she doesn't have one, she'll just say she's got loads of her girlfriends. You know, it's just very convenient. I love people. You know, there's a type of rhetorician who just has a friend for every argument. They just have a friend for absolutely everything. You know, all my girlfriends have had pretty. I've got so many friends who have just had such negative experiences with the South Korean plumbing system. I don't know what it is. You know what? It's really interesting you say that, because I have a couple of friends and they're just really, I don't know, they're just really not happy with the justice system in Mozambique. I think it's really, I don't know. It's a good tactic, but
single mother for no good reason. Maybe for doing chores.
Why not just settle down with the
God? I don't know what Pearly's life is, okay? I'm pretty sure the amount of hours, is it not like 7 or 8 hours a week that women spend doing chores, or is it even more than that? I feel like because I do my stuff at home, and I've got there's like a 2-bedroom flat, one room for the studio, bedroom, very big kitchen. My kitchen's fucking massive. I feel like I spend a lot of time keeping things together. I don't know I feel like the job that she does as well, she probably works quite hard. Is she going home to a relatively to a decent sized house and doing all the chores herself? And if she was married, she'd be okay with the man just a man who probably doesn't, given her job, right? It's actually, I don't know if it's likely that she's going to marry a man who works harder than she does. Dreadhead, thank you so much for the tier 1 sub. I don't know what you're voting for, by the way. Are you voting for or against filling the box? Because so far we're 8-4-3 against.
The beta from day one who will protect her from all of the preying alphas.
Because, like, women want the alphas, but they can't. I mean, think about it. If you're a top 10% guy in terms of looks, what incentive do you have to settle down? Most girlfriends will let you cheat. What incentive?
These red pill men are simply
Most girlfriends will let you cheat. Bro. Who are these, like, doormats that she's hanging out with?
How they see that.
It's like, who do you think knows more about dating women? Men or women? Men or women? Who do you think knows more? So if all the guys are saying, these are my observations, instead of saying you're wrong, maybe you could listen to them and you might learn something.
Market.
Oh, what? That's literally just going for anecdote. What? Yeah, just listen to the men who are trying to sell an ideology around dating. Or trying to sell an entire fucking worldview around red pill idea. Just listen to these absolutely authentic and very massively representative and honest anecdotal opinions from men. Wow, bro.
Onto women when women actually see it very differently. Take it from me. If a man walks up to me and asks me for my number or asks me on a date, I'm not thinking, oh wow, I wonder if he has a nice car.
Yeah, but you might say, what do you do for a living? What is your job?
I wonder if...
And I wonder if that's more expensive than my current boyfriend.
It's more expensive than my current boyfriend.
Right. You might not be thinking that. Like, you might not mean to, but you know damn well you haven't. Look, you know damn well that girls are not looking to leave their boyfriends and do worse. They're not looking to leave their boyfriends and do worse. So
but people have different interpretations of what worse is. I don't know if, like, Mooncat's a pretty big YouTuber and she streams and shit. I don't know if she's worried too much about her partner's wealth, right? Like, I don't know if she's, I don't know if she's in a position where she's going to be up with someone who's on fucking 50K and then ditch him and then be like, oh, I don't know about this new guy. He's doing more chores, but he's only on 40K. Do I really want to do worse? Like, I don't know what makes someone better or worse is, like, kind of subjective, but I can still imagine she can just say that maybe Mooncat's not like that, but she can probably still say it's not common for women to date guys who earn less than them, because I think that's true. I'd be very surprised if that was the like, I haven't read the studies or anything, but like, I think she can just stick to that and just say that Mooncat's like her own thing. But like, she's not even making her own arguments well.
Husbands, whatever.
I'm thinking, I hope this interaction ends without this man getting...
There it is. All men are angry, violent, angry men.
I think she might be straw manning.
Friends and do worse, or their husbands, whatever.
I'm thinking, I hope this interaction ends without this man getting...
There it is. All men are angry, violent, angry men.
Very violent or following me home.
Fear mentality.
By getting involved with the red pill and by learning game, you're literally giving yourself a 101 on how to give women every red flag.
Oh my god, he looks so nervous in this. You see him like touching his arms.
In the fucking book.
To learn how to...
Does she not like Myron?
A game is just learning how to talk to women.
By far the most tangible evidence the man...
Wait, that is not... There are probably some pickup artists who try to sell game as that, as just how to talk to a woman like a fucking person. Game is learning how to talk to women like you're trying to produce some like robotic cause and effect result, like or even just how to be manipulative. I don't know if it's just necessarily just how to talk to women. Yeah.
Manosphere has for modern day hypergamy.
I would just say dating apps. Oh my god, 5%.
Is from dating apps.
There we go.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Data from dating apps.
Which is the #1 way people are meeting nowadays.
Account for, you know,
is that true? Do more people? There's two ways you'd look at that. Maybe most dates start from dating apps, but are most people using dating apps? Pandemic probably pushed that. I didn't start using a dating app until like two or 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago. But that's a bad link, Tequila Sunset. I mean, it wouldn't necessarily surprise me, but
The Plenty of Fish data, the Tinder data that we have, men do not get nearly as many options as women, and even if we're talking about top tier guys, they still cannot compete.
In a since deleted 2009 official blog post on OkCupid showed women rating men as worse looking than medium 80% of the time.
Most of the men on Tinder, of the profiles they come across, females, they'll swipe right on 60% of them. When it comes to females, they'll only swipe right on 4.5%.
4.5.
These guys, you look at OkCupid's data, and they behave a certain way.
On Tinder,
yes.
women
Yeah, she's gonna try to discredit it by saying like, "Oh, people aren't looking for relationships on dating apps." Well, it's dating apps, but even if we tripled it, that's 15% of men.
They like, swipe right. They like the profiles of only 4%. Men, when they see female profiles, they swipe right or like more than 60%.
That's a great example of hypergamy.
Time to get debunked again.
It's gonna also be because there are just a shit ton more men. I think it's also. This is just feels. Like I have no fucking way of proving this. Is it possible that we're in a situation now where culturally, when it comes to expectations on men and women, women have gone through a period of a lot more opportunities being opened up to them, a lot more access to education, a lot more autonomy, being introduced to the work market. And I feel like for women, there's a much more like of a social incentive for them to work to prove themselves, because I think that from very early in life, women probably start to realize that they need to work a little bit harder to get recognized for their talent or their skills or their abilities and all that shit. Whereas for men, I think especially when it comes to dating, for men, for the longest time, all you really had to do was just like have a job and just kind of turn up, and that would get you a wife, because women needed men to live. Like they needed a partner. And I think men are maybe still stuck in that mindset, which is why I think, like, I don't know, men, my experience of seeing what men are like on dating apps, just from women I know and shit like that, is like, when it comes to men, like, there's such a disgusting ratio of entitlement versus effort. Like, it looks like so many men just put so little effort into themselves. Like, they just put no effort into themselves when it comes to, into their whether it's even just like their personalities or their appearances or their fucking like their craft or whatever, but they just expect things to come to them, but I don't really see that with women, because I think men are still maybe stuck a little bit in that mindset of just turning up is enough.
You like this? Being thoroughly debunked by a vagina haver with a second-class degree in music production? There was one infamous blog post made by
Imagine getting a degree in music production. Ooh.
OkCupid in 2009, which supposedly exposed the hypergamous nature of women. It showed that women rated 80% of men on the website as below average in attractiveness, whereas men's ratings for women's attractiveness resemble more of an equalized bell curve. They jumped on this as proof of their Pareto principle. It's generally believed that this is one of the main catalysts of the modern Incel movement. And
another piece of evidence is who women choose to reproduce with. Men have only reproduced 40% of the time historically.
The blog post was eventually...
She loves that stat, doesn't she?
...taken down not long after the Incel attack in Toronto, where 11 people died. The Incels took this to mean that big tech was trying to hide the truth of hypergamy. Ironic.
What about when a woman chops a man's off? That's happened. And they laughed about it on national television. So it's just interesting how when something's a gendered crime, men, they don't care when it's men, they only care when it's women.
That same blog...
What? I think when we talk about gendered aspects, as we would talk about what was a trend. Okay. Damn, those sexual assault statistics pretty high. Wait, but did you know that that one woman cut a guy's dick off? Okay. Okay. Yeah, she's what's the score? 8-3. She's stupid. She's very dumb. Anyway.
Post actually showed that women are more likely to be open to messaging.
I have a friend. So if that's true about male violence, why one of my friends last week had their dicks cut off? She definitely has a friend for that argument.
Men they see as less attractive, whereas men are more likely to only message women they rate as more attractive to themselves.
But that still doesn't take away the fact that they only match with 5%. They might be less attractive, but they're still going to be in the top 15%.
So it showed that even though women rate most men as below average, they are much more likely to message them anyway. So here we are again with the incel projection of shallow dating.
Can't message you if you don't match.
Preferences.
So I guess you are a Twitch progressive bot, considering you laugh at whatever JustPearlyThings is saying. Am I wrong? Yeah, if I don't like what JustPearlyThings is saying, it must make me a bot. That is a very non-bot assumption to make from you, Expressive. Very good.
On women. In addition to this,
this guy disagrees with me, must be a bot. Bot. You see how you just reacted like a cause and effect? Like I pushed a button and you just did the thing that happens when you push the button. And then
r/Tinder data generally tends to show that men will swipe right on most women and women will be very picky, and the ones that they do swipe right on will very likely result in a match. I need to explain why this is the case. A fact that the red pill seems to gloss over is that women are always going to be more picky than men when it comes to dating due to the increased risk of violence and pregnancy. Not because of hypergamy.
The increased risk of violence and pregnancy. Okay, let's
have a look at some stats that the manosphere completely ignores.
Okay, before she goes into this, men are more likely, most mutual domestic violence, most domestic violence cases, it's mutual, meaning they're hitting each other. Men are more likely to get hit by women one-sided than women are to get hit by men. I'd just like to say that. Okay.
Women who have used dating sites or apps.
I feel like I've seen that citation once, and it's from the dodgiest looking website. But we're talking about dating. Since we're talking about dating, like the initial contact, is Pearly really going to suggest that a man on a first, second, or third date is more likely to get assaulted by a woman than the other way around? Progressive are bots of the democratic, progressive social media platforms because these platforms force you to say certain phrases, Lonerbot. Okay. That's a very good bot paragraph you just posted there. Well done. Where are those stats though? Like, I'm sorry, but if you're in a dating app, I don't know though. I don't even know if I agree with münecat there completely. I don't know if the reason that women are more likely to swipe left on a dating app is because they look at a picture and think this guy might sexually assault me. I think it probably is more to do with the fact that they're more likely to get swiped right on, right? That they're gonna have more options. They have more choices. They can afford to be more picky. That's probably okay to concede that, right?
Apps are especially likely to report having negative interactions with others on these platforms. A majority of female online daters younger than 50 say harassment, unsolicited
You can't wear a MAGA hat on Twitch, on social media. It is banned. All right, come on, you fucking bot loser. Let's start the deprogramming process. Come on, you've spent way too much time fucking guzzling Trump's cum and whatever bullshit you read on like his alt media machine or whatever the fuck you're JustPearlyThings apparently. Let's just start the deprogramming process, okay? Let's just get you in a little bit more of a sound headspace.
explicit messages are very common on dating platforms. 60% of female users aged 18 to 34 say someone on a dating site or app continued to contact them after they said they were not interested, while a similar share, 57%, report being sent a sexually explicit message or image that they didn't ask for. Roughly half of women think dating on sites or apps are an unsafe way to meet people.
Okay, more picky, fine. I'll give you 20%, I'll give you 30%, but 4.5%, you don't think that means anything?
Roughly half of women think dating on sites or apps are an unsafe way to meet people. More under 20s...
Then why are you on the dating app? If you don't think it's safe, then get off. If they thought it was an unsafe way to meet people, then that wouldn't be the #1 way people are meeting.
Assaulted after meeting a
Is it not possible to acknowledge that you think dating apps are unsafe? First of all, I think women probably find most methods of dating unsafe. Just because something's unsafe doesn't mean you don't do it, right? Driving a car is not particularly safe, but you still do it. You would take precautions. Yeah.
Okay, 671 cases. Out of how many people in the app? I'm just saying the odds. I don't know what the odds are because it doesn't say 671 cases. Like, is that in the whole US in a year? Like, that's like.
That is a representative sample, Pearly. Or it could be. I don't know. But
I'm not trying to be an asshole. I'm just like, that's really not a lot when you think of how big the population
victims and 83%.
Wait, does she think is she saying that these are all the sexual assault cases in 1 year? Or is this a sample? This is whoa. This is a sample, right? NCA data, let's see. Let's have a look.
Remember the Holodomor?
Hello, the Ivasil with the tier 1 sub. Thank you so much. Are you voting for or against me using the R slur on Pearly Things, by the way? Because so far we're 8, 4, 3 against with the gifted subs. With the subs. Yeah, the report examined. Reviewed data from a number of cases. It's a sample. Oh my god, I hate her so much. Oh my god. Ugh.
Of the 671 cases were female and 17% were male. Oh, and I'm not done yet. Here's a full report from ABC about Tinder's failure to act on SA reports. Of the 48 people they found who reported SA to the app, only 11 even got a response from Tinder. Almost all of those responses did not detail whether any action was taken. And Match Group, the company that owns basically
probably not the best customer service scheme, is it?
Everything, Tinder, OkCupid, Match.com, Hinge, Plenty of Fish, and some others, has openly admitted that they do not screen for sexual predators on their free apps. A spokesperson said, "There are definitely registered sex offenders on our free products," which is a bit like a spokesperson for an ice cream company saying, "There are definitely fleshy..."
Well, I mean, I'm not trying to be rude. It's just like, duh. Are there creeps on dating apps? Yeah, duh.
Spiders in some tubs.
But this kind of goes back to like the modern woman fear mentality. Like if you're always thinking of the worst possible scenario, it's like, what do they say? It's like you're going and dating into a place of fear. Is that really what you want to be doing?
Of our ice cream. Don't blame me. I just work.
How can you be so naive to think that someone can consider a threat and not just sit there at the fucking dinner table or the pub where the goose, like you can take their.
Okay. So lucky you, ladies. Well, Tinder makes men.
When I was in the States, I only went there. I had a date. Well, yeah, I went on a date in America. I can't believe I did it. Okay, I met someone at a fucking cafe. When we met up for a date later in the evening, like in New York, and she told me afterwards that she'd like brought pepper spray, you know. But I don't think she was sitting there fucking quivering in fear the entire fucking time. It's just someone she met like in the middle of the fucking day in a cafe, and she was like, you know, might as well like be safe. Okay.
men pay for the slight hope of more matches, you'll have to pay for the assurance that you won't be assaulted.
I'm sorry, there is never 100% assurance that
But
you
I'm an alpha male, so she should have had that pepper spray.
won't be assaulted. It doesn't matter if you meet someone on the street or you meet someone on an app. There's never 100% guarantee. All you can do is take precautions.
Really?
But I promise.
You mean why would you? Are you sitting there taking precautions and living in? Isn't that the same as living in fear? But you just characterize that as living in fear. You fucking idiot. All right.
See, also, I'd like to point out to a study that was done. There is a guy that put that he was a. He put a model picture and put that he was a sex offender. Like he's essayed a 15-year-old or something. Girls didn't care. They didn't give a shit. They literally kept messaging.
And even then, it's not.
I promise you. Also, I'd like to point out to a study that was done. There is a guy that put that he was a. He put a model picture and put that he was a sex offender. Like he's essayed a 15-year-old or something. Girls didn't care. They didn't give a shit. They literally kept messaging.
And even then.
What is this study? Dating app, model, essay, 15-year-old. What is this? Dating app study, man who said he assaulted a 15-year-old. What the fuck is she talking about? I don't know if Google Scholar is going to help me out with that one. Maybe this study was done by one of her friends. To be fair. I'm going to say that study is probably horseshit. Okay? That's just my guess. I'm just going to assume that is complete bullshit. It's like a 4chan collage. Yeah, right? Like, because if it's like an incel thing where you... Oh, if someone can find it. If it's from a 4chan collage, can someone find it for me? Like... And if you find it for me, you get to vote in the, should I say, the R slur about pearly things. Right.
It's not guaranteed.
On top of that, if women were afraid of being assaulted, why are y'all having kids with violent offenders?
I cannot stress this enough. Dating apps do not represent real life. Dating apps represent
E-Bombs World. It's on E-Bombs World. Oh yeah, wait. An ad block. Okay. Okay. So this is the study she's talking about, okay? Where's the original though? Because I don't this looks okay, I'm gonna say this is made up, right? Because E-Bombs World, you can just post whatever the fuck you want. Aspiring model, watch out for me in GQ in a couple of years. You should know I've had trouble with the law my whole life. Convicted 3 times for essay of a child, and once for sexual activity with a child, but to be fair, she turned 16 like a week later, so it was super unfair, but whatever. I'm on Tinder, because maybe if I fuck some of you, I'll stop wanting to be with kids. Unlikely, Lamau. They're way tired. Oh my god. I hope you can therefore forgive me for your past crimes. This is... Really? This is the research... Did any of them mention his crimes? Now this is probably like part of a flirting exchange, I'd imagine. I'm surprised you're still out roaming the streets after so heinous a crime. We should both be locked up. Yeah, so they're both memeing about... Yeah, okay. Oh no, this is what she said. Okay. Nah. And this is... fake? Okay, whatever. This is the legit research from JustPearlyThings, eh? How do you know these? Actually, let's say it's real. How do you know these aren't all Chris Hansen? Okay, anyway. Wow. So I have this friend, and he did this study. Pearly. Oh my god. Oh, this is it. Okay. Shit. Sorry. That's not taking me to the right place. Whatever. Fuck it.
The number one way people are meeting.
An extremely shallow, gamified version of dating that artificially creates the Pareto principle. Since women are more...
No. I don't think so. I think dating apps are just letting women be honest. Like, if they could have everything, if we could have everything we wanted in a man, like, the filters will let us do it. 80% of women put height filters on, so they won't date a guy below 6 foot.
Likely to have had previous negative experiences.
So maybe on an app it's 5%. Maybe in real life, let's quadruple it and say it's 20%. That's still only 20% of men.
With men, I'm not discounting that men have them too, but the fact that women have them more often than men is relevant here. So women are more likely to have their guards up when swiping.
It's so interesting. Feminists always want to take like the accountability off of women. And like, whenever there's an unflattering fact about women, it's always like, oh, it's because of men.
And chatting. So this causes men to get less matches on the ladies that they're swiping right on. And the men are getting annoyed that they're getting less matches because this leads to less of a chance that they'll find someone that they like. To them, this just becomes a numbers game. So they start swiping right on more and more and more women. And the women start to realize that whoever they swipe right on, they're quite likely to get a match with them. And because they don't want too many unsolicited pictures of male genitalia taken with a pissy toilet bowl in the background to deal with,
Lady, come on. I promise to God, if I swipe left on a dating app, it is not because I'm afraid I'm going to get an unsolicited dick pic. If that's what you're afraid of, get off dating apps. Go meet people in person.
I don't think you have to be afraid of it. You might just not want it. Okay.
Do you want? And there's no guarantee anywhere that could happen. But you're going to say, oh.
Start being more picky, confident that this won't matter because they'll still get a lot of matches anyway. As the women get more picky, the men get less and less picky. It's a...
Yeah, that's true. As women get more picky, men get less and less picky. Yeah. Men are as picky as their options. They're not. Yeah.
Negative feedback loop. It's not real life.
See, okay, I used to think that, like, oh, it's not real life. I would argue that women are less picky in person. I would agree. But again, even if it's 5% and we quadruple it, that's still 20%. Let's up it to 30%. And then I just started like walking into a room and noticing like which guys I would want to date in that room. And I was like, oh my gosh, it really is a small percent of men.
Stat that Red Pill seems to ignore. 80% of users on Tinder are male and 20% are female. The bad experiences are causing women to leave the apps.
That's an interesting stat. I think men just need it more.
Altogether. This means that there are women out there, guess what, in real life, who are single and want to meet somebody.
But you know what the number one dating app is? Instagram.
Not on a dating app. From the incel perspective, women are hypergamous,
true,
calculating, and uncaring as they leverage emerging technology
in on, Pearly, say true to those other two things as well.
Pursuit of the ideal masculine partner while maximizing the resources they yield from orbiters. Women are also...
Oh, that's so true. Come on. The friend zone.
Simultaneously sexual commodities, which can be...
I've kind of struggled with this. I wonder, because I think when... With the sexual assault stuff, there's this like fear, I guess, when people will say that women should take more responsibility to avoid it from happening, right? To push back or to whatever the fuck. Like, that's like the pushback that people will give, like the contrarian position. To get better at assertiveness, etc., etc. But I feel like if you were making that argument, and there is like, I think there's some research that suggests that it's like a very sad truth about the world. I only looked at this from university studies, was that the assertiveness training programs were more effective than training programs that approached men as potential perpetrators and as potential allies. But I think that makes sense because although it's like morally pretty unfair, you'd expect better results from the assertiveness training because women have something to gain from it more so than men have to gain from being told not to rape or to be good allies, right? Like the women stand to gain from assertiveness training the fact that they won't get sexually assaulted. But wouldn't you make the same argument the other way around with this whole friend zone thing that really, if there's a friend zone thing going on that you think the woman is like there's a friendship. The guy's only there because he thinks he's in love and he thinks he's gonna get some fucking it'll be his turn one day. And then the woman knows this apparently, but she's staying with him because she likes the emotional benefits of having a friend who will basically be at her beck and call. Shouldn't you still say, like, most of the time you should really be telling the man to fuck off because he's the one who's losing out and being in that situation? Like, what incentive would the woman have to let go of a friend who's doing that for her, you know? I don't know. But that's just if you're that whole thing I just said there with the assertiveness training versus the man having to fuck. That's just like if you're talking about like a really cold utilitarian results based approach, because I would imagine you would put unfortunately you would say that the move needs to come from someone who's like got the most to gain from it, right? I don't know.
Quantitatively evaluated, subject to market distortions.
I think it's moral to cut off a friendship where you think your friend is infatuated and it's not reciprocal. Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But you know what I'm saying, Fig, is that when people make the argument the other way around, when people make the argument for sexual assault, is people like Pearly and all that will often say that the onus when it comes to sexual assault should be on women because they can assert their boundaries more effectively, and then they stand to gain the most from that because they don't get assaulted. And that's why it's like you can there is research that suggests that you can get like you can get better results from that, right? Even though obviously 100% of the moral onus is on the man because he's the one doing the assault. But it's still like there could be an argument to make assertiveness training for women the priority because it's the one that's more likely to yield the best results. So yeah, it's moral to cut off a friendship where you think a friend's infatuated, but like, I'm trying to think of examples I've seen of that happening in my life of people I know. Well, I think so this is what I think usually happens with the friend zone thing. What I think generally happens is the woman kind of knows that he's only hanging on because he's in love, because he's infatuated, but he's not admitting to it, right? It's very unlikely he's going to admit to it. He's going to just say, no, it's cool, we're friends. But he's just going to get very like obviously jealous when she's seeing someone else, like that kind of thing, right? And I don't really think the onus should be on. And then what the woman will do is she'll just kid herself, right? She doesn't want to believe that she has to cut off a friendship, so she'll just, well, he did say he wants to be friends. He insisted, so it's just a friendship, yeah. And she might also just not want to feel big-headed, right? She might like second guess herself over thinking, oh, the guy's definitely in love with me. So I don't know if I think in most of the times when that situation happens, I think and you're thinking results based, you should probably tell the man like, mate, you're like torturing yourself here. Like, just stop. There are worse things than being alone. Stop. That's what I think mostly happens.
Or be unfairly distributed. Here, incels doubly deny women their humanity, as women are manipulative when acting and overpriced when objectified. While incels' observations are accurate, their explanations for these observations are grounded in a reductive and dehumanizing descriptions of...
Oh, so it says, while incels' observation... Wait, so our study says we're right?
...with men and women. All of a sudden, communism doesn't sound so bad to these guys when it means the equal distribution of getting your wet. Another...
Ooh.
No! That's not what guys are saying. I mean, I think saying to a woman...
Wait, I mean, Jordan Peterson literally said that, wasn't it that idea that he floated about like a state mandated girlfriend? He said some mad shit like that, didn't he? And even like Rogan had to call him out for being for pushing equality of outcome because he's usually against that. But yeah, mandatory monogamy. Yeah.
Men, you know, top 5% of men when you're an average chick probably isn't realistic. I don't really think that's dehumanizing.
The graph that they love to point to is this one, which shows that almost a third of men are now reporting no sex in the last year. But zooming out and looking at the rest of this data that this graph comes from, it shows that the amount of men sleeping with over 3 women in the last year is still more than the amount of women doing the same. On the whole, men are still being more promiscuous.
Small percentage of men. Small percentage.
Than women, which doesn't track with their 80% of women sleeping with all of the Chads theory. The data would suggest to me that women still want relationships with men, but men are increasingly attempting.
I'm actually glad she brought studies. This is interesting. Oh, that would still make sense.
Yeah, you would be glad. Some studies to go alongside your fucking 800 imaginary friends for every argument you want to make that you don't have a study for. Ah, yes, this research will fit in nicely with my friends who have so much to say about the dating pool in Tanzania. Like, whatever the fuck. All right.
That's with the Chad theory.
The dating apps for hookups, but are ending up more lonely than they were before. In short, guys, gals, and NBs, try opening yourself up to experiences which will help you meet people in real life.
I agree with that part.
Friends with people of all genders, more
Oh, they're both trads. They're both anti-dating app fucking wankers. Dating apps are cool. Shut up.
To people even if you don't find them attractive, because who knows, they could even introduce you to other people you may end up being intimate partners with, or maybe you've just found a new friend. It's about self-improvement, exercising your social muscle, and fighting that inner goblin that just wants to stay inside.
Feminists always paint this like scary picture of the world for women, and I just disagree. And I think it's silly to say that women are not hypergamous when only 40% of men have reproduced historically.
Hey, that's a third time. That's a third time. I want to, what was I going to say? Never mind, I forgot.
Most women want to date a guy that makes more money. Most women want to date a guy taller than them. Most women want to date a guy smarter than them. If you deny that, you're just denying reality. If you want to wonder if Chads are sleeping with all the women, just look at an NBA team and ask yourself how many guys they sleep with. The guys on those teams, rappers, entertainers, sleep with in a month. Probably more than most men will sleep with in their lifetime. You can also look at Genghis Khan. Man had a lot of kids. Anyways, let me know in the comments what you guys...
Genghis Khan. Brilliant. But I think so we found out that like educational hypergamy is actually lower than it used to be. And that was the study that Münecat brought up that Pearly just completely dismissed. So the taller thing, I don't really know if taller is a hypergamy thing. Like, I don't know. I maybe need to think about it a bit more with the hypergamy stuff. I feel like there are a lot of arguments against it. I'm just wondering if they're like trying to think of what the best ones are. Yeah, the thing with Genghis Khan is I don't really think those women had a choice. It's not like they were all flocking to get a bit of the Genghis dick. I think he just I think only one person was making a choice there.
Subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell, and I'll talk to you next time.
Bro, if I was an alienated, miserable fucking red pill man and I wanted all my opinions validated by a woman, this person would absolutely be my go-to. Because she's simple. She's straight to the point. She's always got a friend to come out from behind the curtain, from behind the rafters she's always got a friend hiding behind a rock in case we don't have research to back up our arguments. 9-3, eh? 9-3 in favor of calling JustPearlyThings the R word. I mean, that was a 32, but we paused so much. That was the most reading I've ever... That thing about the marriage and divorce thing, she just completely misunderstood how the research works. And it seems like she's made that point quite a lot of times. The ratio of people marriages ending in divorce is higher now, but it's not because people are getting married later. The people who are getting married later are less likely to get divorced. It's because boomers are getting divorced. In part because they married too early and they ended up with someone who turns out they didn't actually like, or they just fell out of love with eventually. Fuck. And economic independence and all the other shit. Yeah, I don't know. But I'm sure she would say, the chores thing. Oh my God. Like, imagine, I don't know what Pearly's approach is to chores, but imagine thinking that that's not like the disrespect of, imagine having a husband who works less hours than you coming home and expecting you to do all the chores. Fuck off. Like, so yeah, on that note, Just Pearly Things is fucking repugnant. Okay, there you go. We did it. We got there. We made it, guys. Thanks for the donos, the subs. Thanks for contributing to the game. I didn't say what R word I'd say. It's on you guys. I'm a well-behaved streamer, okay? And I don't want to upset the 3 viewers who paid money for me not to say the R slur.